It's time to make it, just give it a try. 'Cause you can make it like the old fat guy.
Welcome to this episode of You Can Make It. Today I'm going to make one of my favorite comfort foods, which is a chicken cheese enchilada. It's a great dish that doesn't take a lot of work to put together, but yet makes something so tasty and so much fun, you just have to love it. To start off making chicken cheese enchiladas, I've put a 14 ounce or 398 milliliter can of stewed tomatoes in my blender here. I find that crushed tomatoes are too heavy, but if you get some stewed tomatoes and just blend them up a bit to smooth the texture out, it gives you the perfect flavor for your enchiladas. So we'll just mix them up here. You don't need it to be perfectly smooth. You just need it to have most of the big chunks taken out. This will be perfect. So now I'm going to move over to the stove where we're going to do some work on making an enchilada sauce. Now you can buy an enchilada sauce and just use it, but making your own I just find gives a better product and you know what's in it. So let's go to the stove and make some enchilada sauce. I've preheated a frying pan over medium-high heat with 1 tablespoon or 15 milliliters of vegetable oil into it. And just into that frying pan, I'm going to add 125 milliliters or 1/2 cup of chopped onion, 1 clove of garlic chopped, 20 milliliters or 4 teaspoons of chili powder, 2 milliliters or 1/2 teaspoon of ground coriander, 2 milliliters or 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 milliliter or 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, 1 milliliter or 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 milliliter or 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper. And we're just going to slide those into the frying pan. And we're just going to want to stir those around for 2 or 3 minutes, just until the onions sweat a little bit and get a little bit of moisture out of them, and the herbs get a really strong scent from being heated up. It just makes the flavor and scent of the herbs burst when you apply a bit of heat to them. Okay, the onions are just starting to get a little soft now. So what we're going to do is we're going to add those tomatoes we ran through the blender to the frying pan. And to that, we're also going to add 2 tablespoons or 25 milliliters of lime juice. And then we just want, you just want to stir those together and let it heat until it just is bubbly. It's 2 or 3 minutes later, and we're just starting to get a few bubbles showing. And we'll just turn the heat off. And you'll want to taste the sauce to make sure the seasonings are right. Just perfect. Good enchilada sauce. This can be made up to a day ahead. We're just going to take it off the heat and set it aside until we're ready to put our enchiladas together. Now that we've made the sauce, we have to get the chicken and peppers ready that will go into our enchilada. So I've preheated about 1/2 tablespoon of oil in a frying pan. And I have here 1 pound or 500 grams of chicken. I use chicken thighs. You can use chicken breasts if you prefer. I just find thighs have a bit stronger flavor. I've cut them into 1/4 to 1/2 inch dice, and we're going to saute them and cook them in the frying pan. But you want to do it in 3 batches, because if you crowd the frying pan, they won't brown up nicely. So we're just going to put 1/3 of this chicken into the fry pan. where we'll let it cook for 4 or 5 minutes until it's cooked through, giving it the occasional stir. I'm just finishing off my first batch of the chicken here. It's been about 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes. And if you really want to make sure that the chicken's cooked, just find one of the biggest pieces and cut through it with your spoon, and you can see it's cooked all the way through. So I'm just going to take the chicken now, that batch, and I'm going to put it in a bowl. And we'll start with the second third of the chicken to brown it. I'm just finishing up cooking my last third of the chicken, and we will add it to the other chicken in this bowl. So now that we've got the chicken and that in the bowl, we want to put some peppers in. Now, what I have here is 3/4 of a cup or 175 milliliters of chopped green pepper. You can use red or yellow or orange or whatever you like for the peppers, just some sweet pepper. And I have 1 small jalapeno chopped up. Now, if you like your enchiladas hot, leave the white membranes and some of the seeds in. If you want it milder, take them all out. I'm going milder because that's what my missus likes. And we're just going to throw them in the same pan and saute them for 2 or 3 minutes until they're just getting a little soft and a little cooked. So we'll just give them a stir around in the pan. Now that the peppers have been cooking for 2 or 3 minutes, they're just what they call sweated. They're getting a little soft, a little bit of moisture's coming out of them. That's just the way we want them. So we're going to take that and add it to the chicken we've already cooked. Now you'll notice there's a beautiful dark golden brown color on the bottom of the pan. That's called a fond. I'm very fond of fond. What fond is a ton of flavor from all that browned up chicken and peppers. You want to get that flavor into your enchiladas, so I'm just going to add a 1/2 cup of water to the pan and then scrape up all that brown stuff off the bottom. Get it all scraped up and into the water. Look at that beautiful color. You can just tell that there's a ton of flavor in there just by looking at it. So get all the fond scraped up. And when you've got it all scraped up and mixed in, just going to add that to the enchilada sauce that I'd made before, just to get that flavor into my enchiladas. So we'll just pour that in to the enchilada sauce. There we go. And now again, this can sit for a few hours if you want to make your enchiladas later, or you can use it right away. My chicken and peppers had a chance to cool, and they're in this bowl, and I'm going to add to them 3/4 a cup of grated cheese. You can use cheddar, you can use Monterey Jack, you can use any kind of hard cheese you like. I've got here a blend of cheddar and Monterey Jack because I like a little bit of variety. But we're just going to add that to the peppers and the chicken and stir it together. Just get the chicken nice and coated with the cheese. And now we're going to start putting our enchiladas together. So I have here about 6 to 8 inch tortillas. I'd much prefer corn tortillas, but they're very hard to find here in Canada. So I'm pretty well stuck with flour tortillas. I've used whole wheat because I like whole wheat, but you use just plain flour tortillas if that's what you'd like. And we're going to start by putting about 2 to 3 tablespoons of sauce down our enchilada. And then we're going to put 1/6 of the chicken and cheese and pepper mixture down over top of that. Just in a nice pattern like that. Now, it's a good idea to have a bit of sauce in the bottom of your pan. It just helps with sticking. So I've got here a casserole dish, and I'm just going to put about 50 milliliters of sauce. Just spread it around the bottom of the casserole dish. Just like that. Now, I'm going to roll our enchilada into a nice cylinder and put it seam side down in my casserole dish. And we'll just keep that mixture of some sauce and some chicken, cheese, and peppers. And we'll just do that with 6 tortillas till we filled our casserole dish. And we'll just put the last of the chicken and peppers on the last one here. I never get it quite evenly mixed out, so this one usually gets fuller than the rest of them, but yeah, that's the one I'll have because that's the reason I'm the old fat guy. So wrap the last one up and put it in our casserole dish. So now we have 6 enchiladas in the casserole dish, and we want to put some of the sauce over the top of that. So we're just going to put a nice layer of sauce over the top of each of the enchiladas. This is looking great already. And I find it's always good to put just a little bit down the ends. They always seem to get missed out a little bit. So there's our enchiladas ready to go in the oven. Now, we're going to start them off covered, so I'm just going to put a piece of foil over the top of the casserole. Now, I've preheated my oven to 375 degrees. And this is going to go in a 375 degree oven covered for 30 minutes. I've taken the casserole out of the oven where it's been for 30 minutes at 375 degrees, and we're just going to take the cover off of the casserole. And in this bowl I have another cup of my grated cheese mixture. So that just is going to get sprinkled over the top of the enchiladas. This is what makes it look so ooey gooey good when it's done. The melted cheese. There we go. And then this will go back in the oven for 10 minutes uncovered. Then we'll be able to let it sit for a few minutes and try it. The enchiladas came out of the oven, and I let them sit for 5 minutes just to let them sit up a bit. It makes them easier to serve. So let's take one out and try it. You just go down between 2 of the shells, loosen it up from the side, and we'll take an enchilada out. The first one's always the hardest to get out. But there we go, an enchilada. And, of course, we have to try it. So let's just cut into that. and give it a bite. The cheese just gives it some chew. The chicken's a good bite to it. It's got just a little bit of spice, not too much to make it Mexican. This is a great enchilada, and you can make it.
I have a good woman, I ain't good looking, but I do some cooking, I'm the old fat guy. So use that oven if you want some lovin', be like the old fat guy. Be like the old fat guy.